Hello guys, so I'm going to do this video based on what I believe to be like the realities of the dark night of the soul and spiritual awakening, the side of it that sometimes a lot of spiritual people don't talk about perhaps, or those that feel they've come out the other side, if you like. I know in the last video I kind of feel like you evolve into the dark night of the soul and it kind of leaves you from that way, but there's no defined exit point of it. But for this, I can't keep explaining that in every video, so for the sake of it, I'll say those who have come out the other side of it. But I wanted to do this one on, when I say the part that not many talk about, is because I feel like in the spiritual world a lot of the time there's people that do videos like this, but they don't want to admit that sometimes they struggle. Sometimes the old egoic self comes up and comes into them, and it can cripple them in the same way, or not cripple, but it can paralyze them for a day or two in the same way that it maybe would have paralyzed them when they were in the Matrix, that it might have paralyzed them then for months or years, staying in the same job or relationship or stuff like that. You can still get that same feeling, and the ego can creep back into any of us at any point. I think maybe there's a few enlightened people on the planet that doesn't happen to, but I think on the whole, for a lot of us, we can certainly hit periods where our old feelings of self-belief, self-doubt come up, and that's currently where I am since my last video up until this point, and sitting here right now, I'm feeling that self-doubt now. And I was shying away from doing a video today. I was going to explain to you all my actual spiritual awakening, but I hope you can appreciate this, guys, I'm kind of not in the headspace to do that right now. And I thought, I'm going to take a day, which was yesterday, I'm going to take the day away from the pressure that I'm applying to myself. Now, what you have to remember is, obviously when we go through the dark night of the soul, we're going through that separation period of our egoic self. And even for those, like I said in my last video, 95% of my life I feel great, I don't think too much, nothing really happens, it's a wonderful place to be. However, that doesn't mean the ego doesn't come up. And where the ego is most likely to show itself, or its old habit forming self that used to come up in us when we were unconscious, is whenever we enter an unfamiliar territory. So yesterday I was feeling really quite down about myself, and I couldn't quite work out why, because the love that you guys have shown me has been second to nothing I've ever experienced in my entire life, and thank you so much. But I then realized that my old ego was kicking in and was telling me quite strongly that, Toby, you're not going to be able to keep this up on YouTube. Who are you kidding? Who are you trying to impress by doing this? Who are you trying to prove something to by doing these videos? So there's the old ego talking to me, and I wasn't aware that was what was going on. So this is what I'm trying to say, is you have to be so careful that when you think you're free of your ego, or most of it, because we're never going to lose it 100%, we need it to a certain degree. But when we think we're free of that egoic side that was conditioned by schooling and society, be very careful, because it comes up on you unconsciously. So yesterday and all this morning, I'm thinking I'm going to take today off from doing videos as well, because I only ever want my videos to be real or authentic. See if you can get what I'm saying here. I'm sure you can, guys. It's me who's doubting my delivery again, as usual. I was caught in this place of, I want my videos to be real and authentic and in the moment. So I was waiting until I felt good before I left the video. But that's not being genuine. That's not me being real if I do that. All the other videos, I feel great. And I wouldn't, there's one or two little words in there that I've probably used wrong that I might change, but the whole message wouldn't change any of it. That's how I see the world. And it's how I believe things are for me, and it's how I see spiritual awakenings and dark night of the soul. But this morning, I pondered on this all day yesterday, and then this morning I've been feeling quite down, like, why do I feel like I've run out of things to say? Why have I suddenly, I feel like I'm going to stop being interesting to people. And then I realised it's the old ego, and it's the old ego coming up, because this whole journey of leaving these YouTube videos is brand new. It's totally brand new to me, because most of you know now, I'm going to say this and I don't mean it as it sounds, but the thick child grew into the man that's now leaving these videos. So the old thick child that was there is still throwing his chattering self up that I shouldn't be leaving these videos. But then suddenly, this is where the overall beauty of the dark night of the soul comes into it. Your new consciousness, if you like, comes into it, because I could see that that's what I was doing. Whereas before, it might have taken me months to work that out. This one actually took about a day before I was like, oh, it just snuck up on me. The whole ego snuck up on me and was guiding my life to the point where I thought, I don't know if I should be doing this YouTube channel. Yet I love doing this. And I have such belief in the message that I want to get out to people. So I couldn't, the two thought processes were real in contrast. The love of wanting to do it, and then why am I thinking I should stop doing it? And I should stop doing it because I was waiting until I felt good about myself, about spirituality. My confidence felt good to do a video. I was waiting for that moment until I left the video. Then it dawned on me this morning. Leave a video of how we all can have the old egoic self creep up on us. And should that happen to any of you guys, your old ego creep up on you and it comes back into yourself and you can feel it guiding your life, that doesn't mean that you're not spiritual anymore. That doesn't mean that you failed at your dark night of the soul, and I'm saying that because that's how I feel. I haven't felt like that for over a year or so, but the last 2 days it crept in on me. And I thought, this is actually an interesting message. Not for all, but for those who are still watching at this point, it's obviously resonating with you on some level, which is awesome, which is all I ever want from these videos. But that's why I thought I'm going to actually leave this video that people can then see the reality. The fear will still come in. The anxiety will still come into you. The shame, the old beliefs, the old system will all come out in you. And sometimes it will come back up in us. And it will come back up in us sometimes as a disguise. And it's in disguise because we won't always be able to see it because we think we're getting rid of it. So why would we be able to see it? But all of that is just trickery of the ego. And I kind of wish I had the vocabulary and the know-how to really explain that. And maybe as videos go by and in the future and I get more confident at these, which my confidence has grown super fast, by the way, thanks to you guys, honestly. And maybe in the future I'll be able to explain those parts better. But I just thought I'm going to release this little video because I feel like I owe it to you guys who are really struggling, for you to see that even though some of you might look at me like I've got this lovely knowledge about me, which I know I do. I know I have a lovely way of seeing the world now, but that doesn't mean I don't fall victim to it sometimes. And that doesn't mean that I don't fall victim to the feelings that can actually come up. And let me just tell you this as well, by the way, because I'm feeling this right now. It's 2:30 on Sunday afternoon. I'm in North London on a grey but very warm day, and I'm indoors today because it's windy outside, so you'd never pick up the audio. But as I'm leaving this video, I feel like I'm talking to the community that I really wanted around me. And guess what? I feel lighter by doing that. And that's why I love it when you guys sometimes leave your comments in the comments of your stories. I know there was one yesterday from a wonderful guy who supported me the whole way through this, and he had a big epiphany moment during his meditation. I won't say his name, but he's on the comments, so I'm sure he's not hiding, but just out of respect, I won't say the guy's name. But it was lovely to read that people are speaking about it, that they don't feel great all the time. And that's why I thought, as part of this community, or maybe the host of these videos, if you like, I'm not unsusceptible to feel like that. And I thought that might bring some respite and relief to some of the guys who are struggling, or they feel like they're going forward and then suddenly they have this big setback and realise they've been led and governed by their ego for the last 2 weeks or whatever it is, and then maybe doubt their spirituality or doubt that they had a spiritual awakening, and maybe they're just thinking there's something wrong with them. They knew they weren't doing it right. You are doing it right, guys. It's what happens. And for me, and the moment that this has happened to me now, that I felt down the last day and a bit, for no real rhyme nor reason, it's just purely because this whole leaving videos on YouTube is brand new. I've never experienced that. The new guy hasn't experienced that, and the old guy hasn't experienced that. So of course, who shows its head up? The one that always kept me safe, the ego that knows how to act, the ego that knows how to get through situations, the ego that knows how to make me survive and make sure I come off and look all right, no matter what, even though in the long run it kind of makes you look stupid. But at those moments, so the ego will come in, and my ego come into me and says, don't worry, Tobe, I'll save you. You're just doubting yourself a little bit. And you've got every reason to doubt yourself, because, I mean, after all, you was that thick kid. You shouldn't be speaking. Who are you to tell these people what to do? Of course, I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm sharing my experience. And it's the ego throwing up, lying to me about how we feel. And I wanted to share that with you. I don't think this one will get many people staying until this point. But for those that are maybe in the throes of the dark night of the soul, I think they'll be here, and they'll still be watching. And I hope that brings you guys some of the relief and some of the lightness. And I'm going to go for a walk in a minute and give myself a break, because I did create this YouTube. I'm a guy who normally just shut up, Tobe, shut up. This is what I've always told myself. And now I'm talking, and it's grown fast. So my ego kicked in. I'll protect you, Tobe. I'll save you. Don't worry. Don't do it anymore. That's never going to happen. I will not stop doing these videos under any context, because this has been a wonderful lesson. And this is part of when I say I can now see, and you will learn how to see your world so beautifully. You will see what you're doing, and you will see what's going on in yourself, and you'll be able to do the opposite, which is what I mean by the opposite is, I've said this in a video before, everything in me was telling me, don't do a video for a few days, don't do a video for a week, or don't do them at all. So what do? I've done totally the opposite. Went into the dark place that I'm always talking about, which is hitting record and leaving record to 525 potential viewings from my subscribers. And I love you all. But to do that, the nerves in there, in the stomach, to do that at the time is awful. But I hit record, start recording, put it out. Put it out. Those who like you will like you, and they'll still be here. Those who don't, they won't be. And that's also cool, because it means the ones that are left are the ones that should be there. And I think if most of us could take that kind of approach into life, into the whole generality, I don't know if that's a word, but into life, wouldn't it just be a wonderful place for all of us? But I will do that video on my spiritual awakening, guys, but I'm going to find that one really difficult to do, to put it in order. So I keep stalling on it, because I'm finding other things that come into my head that I then want to tell you. But this video is the reality. I love talking about it. I could talk about it all day long, literally all day long. And it's all I do, think about and stuff as I walk around. It's wonderful. I love it. And this is such a big learning process for me, and hopefully now for you guys, that if ever you feel like the ego's kicked back in, or you can feel yourself still being guided by those old voices, and you feel like you're letting the new you down, just stay there with that. Just, okay, that's cool. That's how I'm feeling. It's just the ego trying to protect me for some reason. The same as it was trying to protect Tobe. The same as it tries to protect someone with a beautiful singing voice who won't go and sing. The ego is just trying to protect them by going, don't go and sing. No one wants to hear you. Anyway, I kind of hope that made sense. I hope that was interesting to you guys. And everything's okay. It's like I say, this is the beauty of being, when you awaken, you become very aware of your own life, your own environment, your own thoughts and feelings that go on with yourself. You learn how to really regulate them. So everything's fine. And 525 subscribers. And I've got over 1,000 watch hours now, guys. That's incredible. That really is incredible. The growth on that is, I can't believe it. And that's part of what made me do this video. Was I looked at my early videos and thought, I was actually saying there in a lot of them that I know I'm not the best in the world at these. And I had to remind myself of that. Yeah, you're not. So stop trying to be. Just be, just be that. Just be Toby. No, just be the essence of me that I am. Take the label of Toby out of it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to go for my walk along the river. Like I say, it's a grey day here. Very windy out, which I quite like the wind sometimes. I don't know if you guys feel like that. But very warm, which is always nice. So, guys, genuinely, thank you so much for always taking part in the comments and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. And yeah, until the next video, guys, peace. Thank you so much.